There were two nice setups today on the NASDAQ. Great setups. I caught one and I missed one. But hey, we had a green day, a good start to the week. Hey, fellow traders, it's Black Coffee Trader, and it is Monday, April the 21st. And like I just said, I caught a very, very nice trade today. Also missed a very nice setup on the NASDAQ because of just being a little bit hesitant and cautious. The good trade I caught was this break and retest of the 18,115s, we could call it. 18,120s, that area right here. Caught this break and retest short, beautiful trade, got the full fill all the way down here to the 900s. And then the trade I missed was this break and retest short off of the 900s. I looked at this and I just didn't pull the trigger, and that could have been a nice over 100 point move. This was nearly a 200 point trade for me, which is huge. I rarely get that good of a trade on funded accounts specifically, but let's dive into the trades themselves. Maybe I should stop first and look at the NASDAQ big picture. So looking at the 15-minute chart, the thing that was in play in the pre-market was right here, was last Wednesday's lows, right here at about the 18,115s. The other thing that had me concerned was the April 10th lows right here coming in, and that corresponded very well with the same thing on the ES. So we had the ES Wednesday lows coming into play right pretty much at market open, and then also we have these April 10th lows coming in that I thought might play. I didn't obviously know that at that point in time, but those were kind of the two areas I was looking as far as lows go. I was really hoping for this to hold. I was really hoping for these Wednesday lows to hold and push this market higher. That's not what happened. So let's dive into TradeZella. We'll just run through the trades here really quickly. Today's numbers, net number 418 was our profit today, 44% win rate, 1.67 average win to loss. If you've paid attention since last week, I've noticed my trade win rate has gone down a little bit, and that's common if I'm trying to look for bigger moves. When you have bigger moves, there's going to be plenty of times where you're simply incorrect. However, you make that up on the bigger moves that you get. And it fits my psyche, it fits my mentality a little bit better. So again, that's not saying that that's the way to trade. It's just simply what works best for me mentally. And that's very, very, very important. If you're not confident in your setup, it's not going to work very well for you. So yeah, good start to the week, 2.2R, and I like that. Didn't take that many trades today, but again, I don't have that many funded accounts either. So the numbers here are not going to be that big. So let's dive into the trades themselves and we'll look at them in detail. I'm going to show you, we'll go through the first trade here in the morning session on ES. I took two pre-market trades this morning on ES. Not really happy with them. Not really happy with the fact that I traded the ES pre-market. Break and retest of the 5250s. This was that Wednesday low pre-market trade. No follow through, sometimes typical in the pre-market. I took a second entry after that trade failed. I took a second entry right here. You can kind of see this a little bit better. See this first trade, we sat through all of this, and I should have taken one off on the first trade. This was the first trade entry. I took the second entry after this rejected. Notice I had changed this from green to red because I typically go through the charts every morning and obviously adjust for support, resistance, colors, and whatever. So that's why that color changed. But when I saw this break down, I decided to take it again, and it just simply didn't work out. So I was pretty upset with myself for taking this trade. I need to adjust this. OCD is not going to like that. So now let's jump to the charts, and I want to just kind of show you what that looked like here in the pre-market. That was right here. So we took the first entry right here, kind of held through all this again. I should have taken one off at least, and I didn't, so that's on me. And then that second entry was right here, and we just kind of pushed up and just kind of lollygagged until the market opened, and then the big move happened. So the thesis was correct. Either A, there's two things. I should have had a much bigger stop. So in other words, going in with just one contract so I can have my $150 risk and absorb all this. That would have been one option. option 2 would have been only taking the first trade and not taking the second. That would have been the better choice, honestly. So if I could redo that, it would be a matter of taking one contract off here and taking that first trade as a break-even trade, and then not taking the second one, waiting for market open. That would have been a much better recipe in the morning session. Now let's go back to trade number 3. This was the trade of the day, and one of the best trades I have ever taken on a funded account. This was a short break and retest of the 18,115s and shorting below VWAP, which is something I really like to do. Much cleaner level on NQ as compared to the ES 5250. Both were the same levels. The ES, the NQ 18115 and the ES 5250 were the same level essentially. That was the Wednesday low from last week. One of my biggest trades in a long time, nearly 200 points, trailed my stop on the way down to lock in profits and got to my full profit target. Very well managed trade. One of the things I did well in trailing a stop was keeping enough play between where the current price was at and where my stop was at to allow the trade to work. And I just had to be okay with, getting stopped out if it pushed back against me, which it didn't. There were several times where it did, chop around a little bit, but we managed that trade really well. So let's go to the NASDAQ and we'll take a look at that trade. That was on these accounts. Again, just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful executed trade. Took that. I almost took this one. I almost took this one short I was a little unsure of these wicks. So I was just like, well, is it going to break out? And it just simply couldn't break through this level. And I just kind of held fast. And then when these two wicks formed, I had to take this thing short. I thought that is just too good of a setup. We had a very, very clean area right here in the pre-market. This was basically rejection, turned to support, turned to rejection, and rejected again. And that's just a very, very clean area, much cleaner than what it looked like on ES. If you look at the comparison, this is that same area. I mean, it's clean too, but we didn't test it as purely. I mean, this is kind of a separate little line that I have drawn in here, and it's not going to let me adjust that now. Oh, doggone it. Anyway, well, let's continue while this thing reloads. This oftentimes has been the case on my NinjaTrader. It freezes up. But anyway, that was just an extremely well-managed trade. Very, very happy with that. Moving on to the next trade was, I think I took a little loss on a hold of the 3420s on gold. This was one that I mismanaged a little bit. This little purple line is the pre-market high, and I forgot to adjust this when I entered this trade. I was looking at the holds here, this kind of level, basically a support turned into resistance, turned into support here, and that's why I took this trade. And then I realized that the pre-market high was right here, so I moved this purple line up to this point. And then I charted this 34, what do I have down here? 34.17 level. And I wasn't so happy with my entry after I charted that level. And we had a little pullback and I killed this trade. I should have held because it definitely would have worked. So that was a little bit of a mis-executed trade on my behalf. But I followed that up with another gold trade that was good. We'll get to that one in a minute. Trade number 5 or 6 here. This was, I got faked out here. This was after this big morning trade that was a huge win, we really kind of held above this 17,900 level, we'll call it, just below the 900s. And when we got this little liquidity grab, this little wick down and a couple wicks holding, and this green candle, I got convinced to take this trade, and I took it, and it was simply just a little fake. Just a little fake out. Took it because of the liquidity grab. It was simply a trade that just didn't work. We ended up falling apart. So that was that. And now we get back into gold, I believe. Right here, this was the winning trade on gold. I really, really like this trade. Now, this was after I had adjusted this pre-market high, the purple line, back to where it should be. Break and retest of the pre-market high right here. Nice short trade. I did burn some patience because the price action was pretty sluggish. I really burned some brain cells trying to hold on to this trade, but I got out of there with a nice $136 win, so to speak. So very, very happy with that. Let's see if NinjaTrader has reloaded. It has. Okay, so I wanted to move this out of the way so we could see what I was talking about earlier, how ES did not really come up and retest this as cleanly as what NQ had done on that other trade. And as you can see, we took the first contract off, and then as we got down here to the 18,000s, I moved my stop down into profit, and just really kind of slowly trailed this and sat through this chop, and then we finally got my full fill here out for, I think it was 196 points. So really nice, really nice trade, $400 and some, and that basically put these accounts into the green by 200. I lost about 260 on these accounts in the pre-market trades right here on ES, and then made that all up on this move back down. So that was really nice. Let's jump to gold real quick, and I can show you the two trades we just looked at. This was the original one where I had the pre-market high is here. I then charted this level. Didn't really like this entry. On this pullback, I just killed it. We kind of danced around. I just killed the trade. Took a loss there that could have been a win. So I was a little bit sad about that. I did read it correctly. We just had a little bit of crazy price action here. Then I did take this nice short, got it there. I could have gotten a little bit more there, but in any case, I was happy with that trade. And then NQ, we had the right here. This was on this account right here. Was that one we showed you where I got faked out? I thought this was going higher and ended up rolling over. And now we are ready for trade number about 7 or 8 here. One of the last couple ones here of the day. Yeah, this one right here, this was a bit of a sluggish trade. This was a break and retest of the 51.45. I took one off. I'll just show you that trade on the market itself. That was right here. I took one off after kind of sitting through all this junk. I finally took one off here, almost a half hour, no, almost an hour in that trade. And then set a break-even stop, and it just got hit. We just kind of chopped around. I then, the second to last trade was right here. We'll just talk through the last couple trades, and then I'll show you the notes. But this one right here, I got faked out here a little bit. And it's oftentimes what I'm doing, especially today after the morning session, I'm not really paying attention to the market, like really paying attention to it. And I saw these wicks kind of rejecting. We had a bit of a lower high here, but we also had a little bit of a higher low. And the fact that this couldn't break down had me a little bit hesitant, but I took the short, and it just didn't work. And then I was going to walk away. That was on these accounts here. I was going to walk away on the day, and then I thought one of the hesitancies for not taking this setup, I mean, I did take it, but one of the things I thought about is, man, we had such a big sell-off today, we might get an end-of-day push. I really thought that to myself, but I did take this. I was wrong, got out of it, was going to walk away, and then when these two wicks retested, see how we had this break and a retest of this 51.45. This was really kind of an area that was really in play here in the afternoon session. It was not that great. There's not that great of trades here. I took some trades here, but it is what it is. When we retested that, I had to take this trade long, took it long, and I did trail my stop a little bit too tightly. I was trading a little bit too much with my P&L. I didn't want to give back and trailed a little bit too tightly, got stopped out, and then we got the full move. My original ATM for the third contract was actually right here at VWAP, so I would have gotten probably close to a $300 trade had I allowed that to stay. So we would have added, almost $100 to this net profit on this day. But really nice trade. I was happy I took that. Again, this is just one where you're keeping your eyes open. You see the break and retest, and you just take your shot. And the other thing too is I was able to, I could probably show you better on my TradeZella. On that specific trade, we'll just jump here to the last one. I was able to go in with 3 contracts because the break and retest was so clean, and I knew that if we fail below this, it's over. So I was able to put on $150 of risk and actually have 3 contracts, which just helps my profits. Able to get profits a little bit more quickly and get a bigger trade with that. So I was really happy with that execution. Good way to end the day on a nice positive trade. So let's go back. I think that's pretty much that. So yeah, really good day. Very happy with it. Happy with the execution. A little bit sad that I missed that one trade here on NQ, but you'll have that. I would rather miss it and not give away profits than to take a risky trade and have a big loss really quickly. So happy about that. Big picture, what are we looking at here? Again, on the NASDAQ, like I talked earlier, we have these Wednesday lows that came into play in the pre-market and this morning. And then we have these April 10th lows, which we fell through and we've reclaimed, which is very interesting. We've reclaimed that area. Let's just go there on the NASDAQ. And I think we've reclaimed on ES as well. No, we did not. We did not reclaim, not even close. We're still quite a ways away on the ES from these Wednesday lows, but we did reclaim it on the NASDAQ. So interesting, very interesting. Again, we're definitely in a bearish trend for sure. And this could simply be just a move back to the upside and we see another bleed. If we start to fail this in the pre-market and tomorrow, this is pretty much a free fall area. Probably you could almost make the case that this could be a pretty free fall area down here to really about the 500s. So if this thing continues to slide, we could see a pretty big move. Again, it could surprise us and find an area to hold and push back to the upside. But right now, definitely in a bearish mindset, definitely looking for shorts more than longs. I'll probably keep that train of thought unless this market really rips in the overnight session and we have a big move tomorrow to the upside. But there's probably areas that we'll be looking at is, potentially right here around the 16,800s, and also right here, these April 9th pre-market highs, and actually market, not really highs, but there's a high point here during the day around the 17,500s, 600s. And then again, this April 10th low is probably going to be in play tomorrow as well. So those are probably some areas that we'll be looking at. Again, these areas might turn red tomorrow if this market slides. So ES is probably a fairly similar picture. Again, this is something worth pointing out. Here we have this kind of pale green line and this kind of burnt orange line right here. These are some key points on ES. This area right here is the 2023 highs, which we are we are flirting with it, let's put it that way. And then out here we have the 2021 highs that we fell through, I believe, today. No, we did not. That's right here. So, but these are two pretty key levels, in my opinion, on ES. If we push back up and reclaim that's a good sign for the bulls. If we fall below this again, we fall down into these lows, which are really kind of synonymous with these lows here on the NASDAQ. Look out below, or maybe what we're going to do is go back down and test these and then push back out like we did here, a little bit ago, a couple weeks ago here. So anyway, the jury's out, we shall see, but the key is just to pay attention and take good setups and go from there. So again, sorry for the longer video, apologize, but appreciate you guys. Thanks for following along, and let me know how your day was. Hopefully you had a great day. And again, I just want to say thank you, new subscribers. And again, for those of you that use my code BCT and help support the channel with Apex, Take Profit Trader, or TradeZella. So again, thank you. And again, until next time, take care and so long.